I'm talking about getting in this thing and driving it for 8 hours tomorrow. Yeah, hopefully it goes well.
Searching for greatness in a sea of the dying and shameless, a sea of the aimless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it, and I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story.
It's been a pretty busy weekend, running around doing things yesterday afternoon and this morning. It's Sunday, like just shy of 4 o'clock, and I rolled under the truck to take a measurement again of this front drive shaft, thinking that I needed to extend it. And come to find out, I was 1.25 inches short. And there seems to be a lot of spline there. With the changes I made in the caster, it's pitching that yoke towards the transfer case even more so. And I think I'm gonna be able to get away with just utilizing the stock shaft. Now, I am going to flex it again and see. I have a feeling that the amount of travel available, down travel, is gonna make this drive shaft come too close to this transmission cross member for my comfort. So I may get in here with the plasma and cut a horseshoe out of this and weld a horseshoe notch into that, depending on what needs to be done. Ideally, I would like to keep the bottom portion stock if possible. But again, we'll see what it requires and do whatever we have to do to make it work. So I brought it over to Chris's and flexed it out here, and it touches. So we're gonna have to do the notchy notch thing. So let's get to it. So this is exciting stuff. Front drive shaft bolted in, drove it down the road, pulled the lever, so it was in 4-wheel drive. Technically it was spinning the front drive shaft, though the front hubs weren't locked in on the asphalt. Little vibration, no worse than even my stock Tundra when I click it into 4-wheel drive on the dry asphalt. So that's a huge plus. That's awesome. The drive shaft angles look wonky. The diff on that Dana 60 up front is offset way to the driver's side outside as compared to the transfer case. So plus I've pitched the drive shaft to get the caster angle I want. So there's a lot of funky angles going there, and I was worried it was just going to be atrocious to drive in 4-wheel drive, but thankfully it doesn't seem so. That's huge. Went ahead and stopped over to Chris's, locked in the lockouts, and he's got like a loading dock type dirt mound there, and flipped on the front locker locks right in. You can tell because this, the steering gets a little stiffer that it wants to go straight, but hydro assist works great, turns great, the locker works great, didn't even attempt to spin a tire. So these are huge things. Super excited. So I do need to notch that transmission cross member slightly for the drive shaft. So I'm going to try and get at that right now and see what I can come up with for that. So the 4-wheel drive works, air locker works. We're going camping in a few days. It's time to get serious about the setup. So I have some rock lights that a friend gave me a while ago. Tacomas don't have any bed lights, so I think we're gonna go through and mount these in the bed so that I have some lights in the bed, light things up. I have this extra deep cycle battery. I'm gonna wire that so that it gets charged when the engine is running, but not when it is off. They will not be connected. So I got like a isolator relay that we're gonna hook up. So we're gonna have that, so it'll charge this battery with the engine running. They won't be connected when the engine's off. So that should be cool. I have a little multi-switch panel that I had picked up right here. So we're going to wire this to that auxiliary battery. So that has USB charging, a 12-volt charger, battery voltage, and these switches, which we're gonna hook up. We're gonna hook that up for the lights. And then I'm probably, one of those switches I'll wire to the disconnect here, but then I'll have that for the compressor. I'm gonna run as opposed to tying off of the compressor that I wired for the air locker. I have the little like cigarette lighter style light duty compressor that I'm going to use for the water tank, like I had done before. We did cut the water tank down, so it kind of fits the bed real nice. Dropped its capacity from 10 gallons down to 7, which is just fine. But it fits up, fits on the rack real good, and should provide us with plenty of water. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, just plugging away here, trying to make things happen. So normally I would use Off-Road Anonymous pack-out mounts. However, composite bed, and I only have one of the Off-Road Anonymous mounts right now. And I happen to have 2 of these plastic ones sitting around that a friend gave me. So I'm going to put these in for now. Temporary solution. Ultimately, the Off-Road Anonymous pack-out mounts will be in here. But this is going to get us going for the trip we got planned right now. So, yeah. Trying to make things happen. Just a few days to go time. And we are coming down to the finish. So I pulled the little pocket out. I've made a bracket out of a piece of thin angle iron to hold my switch panel. Pulled the pocket out so I could drill holes from the top. Gonna mount this bracket in there and then mount the switch panel in there, and then my wiring can all be inside this pocket. And then I'm gonna run it up inside the walls. You can see the wires hanging down here for my lights. Got 3 lights mounted on each side. I did hook them to a 12-volt battery just to, see, and they're crazy bright little things. So we'll rig them off of one of these switches, and I don't know. Some guys have like a tailgate switch, so when you open the gate, they automatically come on. Sometimes you don't want the light. Sometimes you prefer to just open the gate. So I'm gonna have it on a switch so I can turn them on and off at will. I think that's gonna work out pretty good. So I'm excited. Keep plugging forward on this project. I think this stuff is going to be super handy in the long term. So let's keep moving. Battery mounted, wired, fused. That is hooked up to a time delay relay at the front. So, or a battery isolator. So when the truck engine is running, it will charge this battery. However, once the truck shuts off, it disconnects. So this battery is a standalone item. Got the switch panel mounted over here, and it reads the voltage, which I don't know if I can hide it enough, but it's 12.9 currently. I had that battery on my charger overnight last night, and then I'm working on getting the lighting wired up in here. So I've got this side wired up, and now I got to move over to there, to the passenger side. But yeah, it's pretty exciting stuff. So dual USB charge port, 12-volt outlet, and lighting. And then I got these pack-out mounts bolted down. My lovely bride came out and helped me with that. Got those things bolted down. We're getting close, guys. We're getting real close. Oh yeah, I glued the new end on the water tank. I need to pressure test that, and yeah, and so on and so forth. Keep chugging away. We got just a few more hours, right? So it is Monday evening, and tomorrow's 4th of July. So I got all day tomorrow to work on it, and then I work Wednesday, and we're headed out Thursday morning, bright and early. So I'm guessing Wednesday night's gonna be like pack. But anyway, let's keep charging along, and a little bit more wiring, and boom, we got lights down both sides. So that should be more than adequate to see what we're doing at night. Very cool. Super excited. All right. Now, I don't even know what's next. Holy smokes. Probably need to pick up and do a reset. But, oh yeah, finish mounting the tank. I need to refresh the paint on that and then get the mounting holes drilled and get that thing bolted down. All right, so water tank mounted. So that's kind of cool. That's up there. We got our pack outs mounted. They're all just stacked in here right now. I don't have them loaded yet, but the idea is the forward one, the multi-stack there, that's going to be tools, odds and ends, zip ties, duct tape, fluids, that kind of stuff. That'll be in that one. The second one is going to be our extra little propane bottles and stuff like that. Grilling camp, cooking supplies for camping and stuff. Then we got our auxiliary battery mounted, strapped down, ready to go. That's not moving. Of course, we got the air compressor for the locker, but also a tow strap, the hose for my shower, which I picked up a hose with the on-off, so you can turn that on-off, and that threads right onto there. And then I've got my 12-volt DC compressor, so we can pressurize that water tank. So yeah, cut down, I think I said it before, but it should give us a little over 7 gallons of pressurized warm water after a day traveling. That should be really cool. So yeah, just making progress, getting there. It's time to get the tailgate put back on, and then I picked up the polyurethane bushings, showed up today. I want to get to work on swapping those polyurethane bushings in the rear leaf springs. So the ones for the track bar have not shown up yet. Hopefully they show up before we leave on the trip. So just came over to Chris's to get as good a flex as I'm going to get out of it. I ran my tire up onto his 42-inch pit bull, which doesn't have a whole lot of air in it, probably 6-8 pounds. But just looking after doing the polyurethane bushings in the front of the leaf springs. So the front of the leaf spring is staying rigid with the frame. The rear is allowing that rear to flex. So, but the truck drives way better, way better. I got the wrong kit, so I actually don't have the correct polyurethane bushing for here. But after seeing the way that things want to move, I think it's probably better off this way. I'm not mad, not disappointed. It's gonna work well. So it does things. Looks good. So the front's at maximum droop, which the coil spring does come loose at max droop, but it won't come out of there. So that's good. It comes loose, but you can't pull it out of there. So that's cool. Yeah, I like it. Air locker works, 4-wheel drive works, front drive shaft works. So I don't think we're going to get anything crazy enough this weekend that I need to cut this yet, but definitely on the to-do list. We're going to have to notch that, like I talked about in the other video. But so far, so good. Okay, so Brown Santa was good to us today. Energy suspension, track bar replacement bushings for a JK Wrangler came in today, and just verifying that they're going to work, and it looks like they are. So the rubber bushing that was in this track bar apparently was the same as a stock Jeep JK bushing. So anybody that wants to do this job can do it just like I am. If you look at the bushing, that came out, you'll see one side of it is flanged and the other side is not. So what I did is I sat the shell for the replacement on the side that's not, put it in my press, utilized a big socket as a spacer on the other side, and used this shell to press that bushing out. And as it was pressing it out, it pressed it right into place where I needed it to go. So just 1 second, I'll tell you what sizes those were, and we'll show you as we do the other end. But yeah, push that out. Now we'll push the polyurethane piece in, and then the center in, and boom, now we'll have a nice heavy duty polyurethane bushing there, as opposed to this rubber bushing that was deflecting 3/16 of an inch. Brand new track bar, 3/16 of an inch deflection at each one of these bushings, one at each end. So that's 3/8 of an inch combined, right? And that's only going one way. And then it deflected the other way. So you're talking 3/4 of an inch deflection side to side total from one extreme to the other in the front of the truck. So I got a feeling that's part of what was causing my erratic handling. Hopefully this rectifies this. Okay, so the socket I used is my catch socket. It is a 39 millimeter 12-point axle nut socket. That was on my receiving end, catching the bushing as I pushed it through. The other socket that I used is my press tool here is a 1 1/8 inch, and that we were using on the top side to get the shell of the new bushing pushed down just below flush of the surface where it needs to be centered in that arm. So now we're going to push in the poly and then the other center pin, and then we'll do the same to the other end. So we'll, again, just using that 1 1/8 socket, put a little grease on the leading edge of our polyurethane replacement bushing, and just like that. Push that in there and finish it by hand, and then push the center pin in. Couple whacks with your favorite hammer is all it took. Push that center pin in. Now we'll start pressing the other end. All right, not even gonna lie, guys. A little stressed trying to get things packed and loaded. Got the track bar poly bushings installed and buzzed it around the block, and that definitely tightened up the last of it. It drives super good. I am so happy. The only thing I think is maybe a slightly firmer front shock would help with just a tiny bit with the last little bit of like dampening. If you hit a bump, the front does bounce once or twice instead of kind of just coming to a abrupt, slowing it down. So that being said, eventually I'll probably look for a little firmer front shock. But other than that, super happy with the way it drives. Power is good. Gearing is right on. 4-wheel drive works. Locker works. Steers, drives, goes down the road great. Trying to kind of get everything packed, sorted. Few $100 trip to Costco. And in all the meanwhile, trying to get my water tank to reseal. So we'd cut it down. I glued a new cap on, and I went to put water in it, and it leaked. And I tried sanding and resealing the outside of it a couple more times, and it was still leaking. So I ended up just cutting that cap off, went and got another new cap, cleaned the pipe really, really well, got all the paint off it, Scotch-Brighted it down to just raw, good, clean white plastic, Scotch-Brighted the inside of my cap, cleaned everything up real good with brake parts cleaner, let it sit, dry, flash off, and then primered and glued it again with PVC glue. Crossing my fingers, this is the ticket. Hopefully that's it, because I'm not going to know. I got to let it sit overnight, and I'll put water in the morning when we leave, and it is what it is at that point. I got no other options. I'm down to the wire. Got my pack out mounting plates all done, throwing stuff in those, trying to figure out what goes into what. Buddy Steve is pitching in a giant way and helping me out, cleaning my Blackstone grill top because I was an idiot and left it on the back porch over the winter and it got rusty. So he's working on that. Whitney is inside packing. I should probably go help her. I know that she's stressing as much as or more than I am, but it's a big deal. Leaving on a big journey with a kind of somewhat untested truck, right? I put like 400 miles on it driving around town, but it's been in 10, 15 mile spurts at a time, right? Like I'm talking about getting in this thing and driving it for 8 hours tomorrow. Yeah, hopefully it goes well.